This next movement in our low back series, aiming at developing a stronger, more robust and durable low back and spine, is going to be the dynamic hamstring and the hip flexor lift off. Big fancy name for essentially we are working on hip flexor compression strength. And the reason why this is important is because we need our hip flexors to be able to pull ourselves into a good position in a squat or a deadlift, because that's actually going to set our hips, our hamstrings, our glutes into the perfect position to be able to contract and produce force to come out of the bottom of that squat or to pull that heavy weight off the floor. So typically I like to do this in a doorway, but as you can see, we have no doorways around us here today. So I'm going to be that doorway. And we're going to have Kendall here laying flat on her back. She's going to have one leg through the doorway. The other leg is going to be up on the door jamb. I'm going to be representing the door jamb. Yes, I know, a very good looking door jamb. So go ahead and bring that leg up. It's going to be as straight as possible. So straight through the knee, toes pulled back towards the shin. She would, in the doorway, scoot her butt as far or as close to that door jamb as possible with relation to how flexible her hamstrings are. So for Kendall, go ahead and keep your knee straight. I'm going to push it. She's got a lot of hamstring mobility. Many of you will not be able to start here, but if I were that door jamb, I would have her pushing all the way up against it. Okay. Once she gets here, she's going to bring the opposite leg up straight to match the leg that's on the door jamb. She's then going to take a big deep breath in and out, exhaling to push that rib cage down towards her pelvis. This leg now is not going to move on the door jamb. Her free leg is going to lower down towards the floor, smooth, slow, and controlled, going down to the floor to the point where it's like about an inch above. She's then going to reverse directions, pulling up with her hip flexor. So really this guy right here, keeping the knee straight, toes pulled back. She's going to move back and forth between that, down to the floor, and then back up to the starting position for 10 reps. Not only is this a great movement to work on hip flexor strength against gravity in an eccentric way with a straight leg, but then also it is working on dynamic hamstring mobility. So it's giving you a great neural glide through the back of this leg that's on the door jamb. Once she gets to her 10th rep, she's going to lower that leg down, hover it about an inch above the floor. Good. And now that's not going to move. She's then going to focus on the leg that's on the door jamb. Her goal is to lift this heel off of me or off the door jamb, pulling it towards her face. Once again, maintaining the goal, keeping her knees straight and toes pulled back towards the shins. Go ahead and relax. You're going to look for a 2-second hold at the top of each of these reps. Go ahead and lift that leg off the door jamb. Hold, relax back down. She's going to get 5 repetitions of this before switching sides. So go ahead and relax. We're going to switch sides now. Opposite leg is going to go through the door jamb. So you're likely going to flip yourself around. Once again, knees going to be straight as possible, toes pulled back towards the shins. I'm going to have her heel now digging into my body representing the door jamb. She's going to bring the other leg up to match it. Good. Big breath in and out. Exhale, blow the air out, pull the rib cage down towards the pelvis. She's then going to lower this leg down to the ground. Once again, moving through her 10 repetitions, slowly lowering, lifting back up. Good. Focusing on that hip flexor. So Kendall, go ahead and point to your hip flexor where that's at. We're lifting from there. You can actually keep your fingers there, maybe even tap yourself to give yourself a little bit of an external tactile cue to tell your brain what muscles and groups that you want it to use. Good, instead of just using the quads. So the quads are going to be on to stabilize the knee at this point, but they shouldn't be the main mover. If you find that your knee is bending, that's a signal that your quads are coming into play more than the hip flexors themselves. Okay, so we're thinking more psoas here than anything else. That big hip flexor actually attaches into the spine. So once again, she's going to move back and forth, and on the 10th one, she's going to lower it down and hover that heel above the ground. You should also watch that just during our dead bug assessment that the foot does not rotate out. So we don't get that hip external rotation. So what you can cue here is trying to keep the toes pointed up towards the ceiling as best as possible. She's then going to lift this heel up off the door jamb, hold for 2 seconds, come back down, relax this leg, then lift it right back off again, hold for 2 seconds, come back down and relax. Good. So this is once again another great movement. Go ahead and relax that leg to develop a lot of this active hamstring flexibility and mobility. And then also work on that hip flexion compression strength that's gonna put us into a good position to be able to perform squat, deadlift, lunge, step up really, really well. So I love doing this as part of my dynamic warm up prior to a lower body day. But then once again, if you need a little recovery or a movement snack throughout the day, this is a great movement to get the hips more lubricated and moving well.